It's going. Hey YouTubers, this is Lonnie Clark, Nuts for Art. I wanted to put out a quick video telling you that I'm back. I'm coming back. I'm actually going to be back a little bit more. I've waited to put up a video so I could get through the holidays. I haven't been intentionally silent since the circular firing squad started and the Lord of the Flies mentality started. I venture to say that very few of the people who are now demeaning and demeaning and basically berating Dr. Caldicott and Busby and Gunderson have not actually gone to their websites and looked at the work that they put out there. I would strongly suggest that you do. I am unequivocally a 100% supporter of Dr. Helen Caldicott and Dr. Busby, and I actually like the work of Arnie Gunderson. I don't like the fact I've already told you what I don't like about him, but their work is actually helpful in the cause to expose the lies of the nuclear industry. I have been getting, what's this guy's name on Twitter? There's a guy on Twitter who has told me in no uncertain terms that John Goffman has been debunked many times. Goffman, his name is Brian Soltis. It's at BBSOLTIS. And that's his last name, SOLTIS. And it's at BBSOLTIS if any of you want to follow him on Twitter. He says Goffman was a fearmongerer and has been debunked repeatedly. Really, sir? By whom? By the NEI, who basically thronged him out, or this motherfucker, like, excuse my language, but Alvin M. Weinberg, the man who lied to us and first called himself the nuclear priesthood, and basically said to us that we have now entered into a Faustian agreement. What did he say here? Let me see if I can get the quote, because it'll fucking knock you off your seats. We have entered into a Faustian, here it is, it's right here, I'm sure of it. Oh, this is what he says. However, if one thinks about it for a moment, the prolonged storage in vaults of waste containing plutonium-239 requires a long-term commitment by highly intelligent managers of such waste systems. Highly intelligent, these motherfuckers. Thus, the price exacted by permanent disposal of waste of concrete vaults may be a commitment to a priesthood that will tend the vaults for time unimaginably longer than the time scale of any other previous human endeavor. And for this man to tell us, he's probably a nuclear scientist who's been educated to say, oh yeah, he has been debunked and he's a fearmonger. John Goffman was not a fearmonger. He was a scientist. He studied and he actually showed. Do you know what he said in his book, Nuclear, what was it? Poison Power? I read that book on my YouTube channel. You can probably find it. In that book, he said, do you know how they came up with the radiation will kill you 1 in 10,000? They wanted to study 100,000 people. They were hired by the government to find out the negative effects of nuclear pollution. So he and Dr. Tamplin requested to be able to study 100,000 people. The government said, no, that's too many. So they said, okay, how about 10,000 people? They said, no, that's too many. They're like, okay, great, 1,000 people. They said, no, that's too many. They were allowed to study, exactly right, 10 people, folks. So what they did in 10 people, they didn't find anything. So the government said, well, that seems reasonable. 1 in 10, probably not very likely. So let's just extrapolate on that and say maybe 1 in 100, but let's really be generous and say 1 in 10,000, so that we know for sure at least 1 in 10,000 will be affected by nuclear pollution. That's how they came up with it. That's the fact. So this is, in fact, my next reading project that I'm going to do. And in fact, I'm starting it tonight after I post this video. This is the Human Radiation Studies, Remembering the Early Years, Oral History of Dr. John W. Goffman, MD, PhD, conducted on December 20th, 1994. United States Department of Energy, Office of Human Radiation Experiments. You know why? We're being killed. They are killing us with lies. When scientists lie, people die. But we certainly do not need to come after each other. And I would encourage the island, and I'll call us an island, the YouTubers. It's turned into the Lord of the Flies. You know, where it's just like pubescent, I'm going to be the top dog, listen to me, and everybody jumps behind him. And, you know, I mean, if you haven't read Lord of the Flies, you're missing out. You need to read that book, because it's just as instrumental as Animal Farm, as 1984, as Brave New World. Because it'll explain a lot about what's gone on here with this bullshit that Dr. Caldicott and Chris Busby are pro-fucking nuclears, because they're not. They have busted their ass and committed their lives, their entire careers, to stopping nuclear, exposing the lies. And this bullshit of, oh, you're angry at them because they don't believe exactly how you believe. This is just... honestly, the reason I have not posted over the holidays is I can't take the bitter, angry, hostile attitude of like, oh, honestly, I'm so fucking over this bullshit. We're here on YouTube to like wake fucking people up. Go to the Helen Caldicott Foundation, follow the links. There's actually a really great site on one of her links. I'm going to put my glasses on. It's called fukuleaks.org. They have awesome stories there if you want to follow up. And you know what I've noticed? The people that are angry and cuss and spew, they get thousands of people following them. And on my videos where I'm actually like sort of more myself instead of like attempting to be civil, because I do have a big fucking anger issue on this whole thing. Because not only do I have to know about fucking nuclear radiation, not only do I have to recognize that we're getting radiated every fucking time I stand out into the rain, do I have to worry about my grandchildren even making it to adulthood. But now we have our so-called friends turning on us in a fucking heartbeat and telling us to fuck off because we don't agree with them. That Caldicott and Busby are fucking traitors. Fuck you. They're not traitors. You know what? I really, the reason I haven't put this video out is because I knew I couldn't help but go here on this. Because we are shooting ourselves in the goddamn foot. This has got to end. It's got to end. Helen Caldicott deserves our respect. Just because she doesn't believe that something somewhere and all this other bullshit. Fucking Fukushima's falling apart. It's been 6 years. It's fucking worse than any of us know. Yeah, you can get all these old links, all these old articles. Who gives a flying fuck? What really matters is that we don't know jack shit about it. And what we do know is that it's just fucked up, 100% fucked up, and it's killing the planet. That is what we know. Now, Caldicott and Busby do not disagree with that. What they disagree on is the time frame. How soon? 5, 10, 15, 50 years, 20 years? Guy McPherson says we have 10 years. I don't even know if he's counting Fukushima. He's talking about climate change. You know, the collapsing environment that we have, which I personally believe is collapsing at a catastrophic rate because of the nuclear pollution that they put into our atmosphere. And now we have a president coming in, and they're going to start fucking testing nukes again, guys. The world is not going to get better. And us YouTubers, we better get our freaking acts together and get more active than what we've been. I've read articles. I've made puppet shows. I've stood down streets all by myself. We need to make this spread like the fucking measles. Because we have got to get people in the streets. It does fucking matter that you're in the street. It matters. They just passed a law. Obama signed it in for Trumpy, so Trump doesn't have to be that long arm of the hammer of the long arm of the law. Obama decided to do him a fucking favor, because I guarantee you Trumpy would have done it. This is the bullshit of where we're allowing our country to go. Oh, well, he did that and he did that. It's not just fucking Obama, and it's not Bush. I mean, if any of us doing this nuclear fight don't get the fucking big picture that there's a deep state, and the deep state is warring among itself. That's why we have these different conversations going on. This is why they pay fucking trolls to come out and fucking mislead us and say bullshit all the time. I am going to keep making these videos, and I am going to give you my opinion, and I hope that what I say spurs you into action. You know, my radio show is 5 days a week now, Monday through Friday, on ucy.tv. It's the Age of Fission radio show. I never interviewed Kevin Blanch. I haven't even asked him if he'd interview with me now that he's not on, but I'm going to ask him soon. Because he's not on the radio anymore, and I'd like to have him in this. That's what I do on my radio show. I interview activists. So if there's activists out there, I'd love to interview you, but I do not want to interview people who get into a pissing contest in the comment section and call each other dickheads and say names to each other. That's just despicable. I hate to inform you folks, I love my subscribers, but you're not doing jack shit if all you do is watch videos. You need to be calling these fucking elected officials because they have the purse strings. They spend our fucking tax dollars. Whether you like it or not, we have got to put pressure on them. We have to be willing to get out and get in their faces. That's one of the things I love about Kevin Blanch. He is willing to go there and stand up and talk to these fucking people. You know, I mean, he goes out there, and the fact is, a lot of people ridicule him because he gets all hyperbolic and he just goes off. But guess what? Who gives a fuck? He gets the point out there. We do not have to be perfect speakers or perfect people to be engaged, to stand up and make a comment. But we have to make a comment to these elected officials. It's up to us to stop them. And well, I don't have my glasses on. I can't see, but I imagine it feels like it's 10 or 15 minutes. Let me put my glasses on. Oh, dear. 17 minutes. That's kind of a long video. Look, I'm going to end you guys. 6 years of Fukushima is coming up. It's fucking worse than ever. We just had an earthquake today that God knows, no doubt, did shake and quake that fucking place. I looked at the video feed. I don't even know if it's real. They could put a time clock in there and just keep repeating the same sequence. We don't know. But something had to have happened. They had like a 5.0, almost a 6.0 earthquake there. That's pretty big. That causes a lot of damage. And it's already falling apart. They had that ice wall that failed. It's beyond comprehension. We're going to be bombarded again with more radioactive, another spewing out of more radioactive contamination. We definitely have to circle the wagons, and we have to put our efforts out towards the community that's trying to drum us down, not make ourselves look fucking stupid by attacking the few people who have been on our sides. It's super important, whether you're pissed off at these people because they're not talking about the issue you want them to talk about or not. Let's face it, folks. Not only are they all we've got, but they're fucking awesome. They have done a great job. They have helped many people, many nuclear victims. They have spoken outright and forthrightly and openly. And it's about time we fucking thank them. And I thank you, Dr. Caldicott, and I thank you, Dr. Busby, and I thank you, Arnie Gunderson, even though you were a traitor for a long time. Thank you for getting your shit together and refusing to stay with the drones. I mean, honestly, I guess I meant clones that are droning us with nuclear. It's about time. It's about time we actually act in love. Be in love. Be love. And this frank talk is a love talk. So definitely put your courage feet on. Please take action. Please. Please take action. Go. If all the action you do is go to Dr. Helen Caldicott's website, helencaldicott.org, or org, I guess, Helen Caldicott Foundation. And then you can go to fukuleaks.org and look at the work they do. That's all sponsored through their foundation. They have fantastic articles on there. It probably already is too late, and most of us watching this video probably already recognize that. And I venture to say that's the excuse in people's heads. Well, it's already too late. I'm not going to put myself on any fucking government target list by calling our elected officials. Really? You're just going to lay down and let the fucking truck roll all over us and kill our children? I'm going to go down swinging, folks. I'm not going to let them do it. Look, watch, listen, feel, listen. We have these senses to help us in life. We have an ability that we don't even use, that we're not using. We're just like, huh. Oh, well, that's interesting. What can we do? They're horrible. Talk about their bullshit. No, we have to be willing to confront them. We have to be willing to talk to them in their faces. We have to call up the Energy Committee at the Senate and ask them, why are we not indicting people at the Department of Energy who have refused to give them information on the low-level radiation program, which the government is trying to shut down. They don't want to know anymore, folks, that low-level radiation causes harm. So they can just lie to us and say, oh, it's not that bad. Let's put it in your plates, your dishes, and everything, and then in fucking 50 years, we're not going to have a population. That's the reality. I do know we need to rally together, folks, more than just sitting here watching a YouTube channel. It's so important that we take action. Like, we have to confront these people. We have to talk to our elected officials. Who was it? Donna Gilmore said, look, our elected officials really don't know. It's up to us. We have to bring them the information. They have been grotesquely misinformed, severely misinformed, intentionally misinformed. I mean, for God's sakes, I saw a thing of Democracy Now! December 16th with Michio Kaku, I think that was his name, that Japanese guy that's always on TV. He was like, yeah, well, Fukushima released 10% of what Chernobyl did. Really? That's outright misinformation. Just like John Goffman being debunked, outright misinformation. So it's up to us, really, to be the stewards of truth, the stewards of facts, the stewards of information without judgment. This is the hard part. When people refuse to pay attention, it's really difficult to not be angry at them because they're slower than us to accept the incomprehensible. And maybe that's what it is with these medical professionals. It's just so incomprehensible that they just can't They can't even fathom that we look at it, it seems so perfectly clear. That does not mean they're betraying us, folks, and it does not demean or negate any of the fucking awesome work that they've done. So I want you to keep that in mind. I think I'll end there. So thanks for listening, and put your courage feet on, you guys. We're all we got. It's up to us. Take some action. Ciao.